every city in India is transforming at a rapid space, and Nashik is no less than any of the cities which are emerging very, very quickly to become an economic powerhouse for the state and for the nation. Global Bharat Movement has been an ode to customers like you who have had shown that grit, willingness to rise above the curve and show the impact to your customers, to your business fraternity. Global Bharat Movement is something which started just around when pandemic was raging. This is around 2020, 2021. Businesses were kind of stuck who had not gone on the path of cloud adoption and digital transformation. And as SAP, we felt that we have a moral responsibility to talk to the businesses and help them come up the curve. That was the time when we had set up a community called Growth Matters Forum, which still exists. You can go and check out growthmattersforum.com. In fact, if you would have received an invite, you would have seen that as a demo, as a portal from which you have got it. So that's a thriving community of 32,000 plus mid-sized and small businesses in India who come together often to interact with each other. Global Bharat Movement in 2023 is committed to go to 25 business clusters in India, covering the length and breadth of the country. I would wish to stop here and quickly bring up an AV about our journey so far.
India is projecting a more self-assured version of itself to the world than ever before. Paving the way to this bulletproof economy are our homegrown businesses. Taking our growth story beyond key business hubs of India to emerging industry clusters across Bharat. As key industry clusters fire the growth engine of a new India, SAP India, in association with TV9 Network, celebrates India's holistic techno-economic growth. Welcome to Global Bharat Movement, a traveling roadshow that brings together eminent business leaders, tech visionaries, and practitioners across diverse sectors. The Global Bharat Movement 2.0 kicked off in style at a gala function in Bengaluru on 24th March. Chief Architect of Aadhaar, Dr. Pramod Verma, set the tech-led development narrative, talking about key pillars of Digital India.
India now runs world's largest direct benefit transfer program, DBT. 860 million people, 86 crore people have bank account attached to their Aadhaar.
In 5 weeks, the roadshow has traveled to 7 cities in the south. The South leg culminated with a thought-provoking keynote by Dr. Raj Gopal from IIT Madras Incubation Cell. The roadshows received an overwhelming response from participants.
2 months implementation, all credits to the team which came along with that. Their knowledge, in fact, it's what that helped. And it's a very good planned, like we planned months before itself, before we start all the operations, and great support from SAP also with respect to that.
From any technology point of view, the ease at which you can extract something is what drives innovation. And similar with SAP, I'm sure, as the gentleman pointed out, 4 weeks of implementation compared to, say, months earlier is the time.
And now, the stage is set for Global Bharat Movement, creating waves across the rest of India.
On that note, I would not waste any further time. I would request my colleague and Regional Sales Director, Vibha Raina, to come on stage. She would be talking about the future state of mid-market and India's economic leadership. Vibha, over to you.
Recently, I went to the US, and what we saw there is that the impact of double-digit inflation post-COVID that they're experiencing and war-related factors are real. But on the other hand, cut to India, economy of our scale, we've, absorbed the global shock so well, and we've come out of it stronger. I'll give you an example. During COVID times, what supported us most? digital payment infrastructure. You had these small vegetable wallas, milk wallas. We never expected them not to accept, to survive without accepting cash. With those QR codes, they would be ready. It was the technology that helped them grow even, during COVID times. I wish to put in front of you 4 lag indicators. The first one being non-agricultural credit offtake. What does it mean? It means the amount of capital in businesses have to infuse make investments into their business. Second lead indicator is our GDP. We all know it's at 6.5. It is more than the pre-COVID levels. But the good news here is that this is mostly driven by domestic demand. We no more depend on other countries. So again, very positive. The third indicator that I would like to put upon, all of us know, inflation is falling. It's at an all-time low for us. And the fourth one is, again, that substantiates that domestic demand is very good, which is GST collections. Now, how are these factors impacting IT spend? Essentially, it means that businesses are poised to become self-reliant. They are moving their core ERP to the cloud. For SAP India, mid-market sector is the fastest growing sector, not just in APJ, but across the world. And this trend, we foresee this will continue. Since 2000, 52% of the Fortune 500 companies, they've gone out of business. And the reason is that they have not innovated enough. Another fact that I would like to put in front of you is that from 1955 to 2011, Fortune 500 companies used to roughly take around 20 years to reach the billion-dollar evaluation. Now, why would that be? Perhaps they were innovating, but they were not innovating at the speed at which business was changing. Cut to today, digital startups. Any guesses how many years do they take to reach the billion-dollar evaluation? They take just 4 years. Why? Because they keep innovation at the forefront of their business. They are trying to use digital tools to know their customers better, to know their suppliers better, to know their competitors better. Companies will have to figure out new streams of revenue. And that new stream of revenue will contribute towards 20% of their total revenue. New streams of business means you have to keep figuring out new partnerships, new ways of engaging with your customers, new product lines. And lastly, should be the favorite of this crowd, data and analytics. Data and analytics used to be a good to have insight. Now it's become, again, a necessity. People cannot afford taking decisions without being backed by data. What is SAP doing for our mid-market customers? So, to help mid-market customers overcome the challenges they come across while growing, to help them grow with technology, SAP is very proud to announce Grow with SAP. So what is Grow with SAP? It is an exclusive cloud ERP solution designed for your needs. It is basically an offering that has solutions pre-packaged with best practices for 25 plus industries that help you adopt cloud ERP with simplicity, predictability, and most importantly, with continuous innovation. I'm sure you would like to know more about Grow with SAP now, so I'll invite my colleague Swapnil, who will deeper into this offering of SAP.
A cloud ERP for the MSMEs, for the small, medium-sized segment of India, to provide them a set of cloud technology solutions, tools, and services to have a simplified, predictable, and a rapid time to value cloud ERP.
So basically, when we say end-to-end processes, we cover the entire life cycle of any business process. Be it producing the different products, qualifying different suppliers to build that particular product, having that leads and bidding process, opportunity management to qualify one particular RFPs that you are receiving, and at the same time having the visibility with plan to fulfill of your shop floor activities, where actually that building, that configuration, your core manufacturing or building process manufacturing activities are happening. All these processes are always interlinked with your finance, because finance is nothing but the cornerstone or heart of any business. So with S4HANA, you have that universal journal, which is a single financial source of truth, which is linked to all the modules to give you that overall organization-based perspective, to provide you that profitability analysis, to have that forecasting and budgeting and planning activities available for you. That is something is covered with our industry best practices. You can find those best practices in our best practices explorer. You can go through each and every minute best practices that you have. You can also go through the benefits of it. You can also see how different personas from different modules are interacting with each other. What is the data or what is the decision making that is being handled here? Whether I need to just push a OK button to provide the approval for the purchase requisition, I don't want to log in into an entire SAP system. I just need to have that widget on my mobile or on my smartwatch where I will just get the notification and I can approve that. That is something we are providing. So no matter from where you are operating, you are still getting that real data from anywhere in the world. When I start my day, what are the different tasks that are pending on me because of some person is waiting on? So you get to see that on the to-do list, so that you can just go through the important task, you can approve it, and the rest of the team can start working on it. At the same time, if you want to go through the exceptions that are arise, or the situations that need specific attention, that are also highlighted on the first page itself. At the same time, you can group your different applications to perform a particular activity. For example, if you want to perform a financial closing, you can just group all those related 7 applications into one page, so that there will be single entry point just to perform that process end to end. Now, since we're talking about cloud ERP, one of the most common questions that come across, when we are moving from on-premise to cloud world, is mainly about the security. Or what happens to my hardware? How will I get that high availability? How many times you take the backup? What happens if I want to restore my system 3 months before the data? What if I want to take the backup every now and then? Who is going to manage that? How will I have that visibility? So that is something is entirely SAP's responsibility. So that organizations can focus on what they best do, is producing different products, offering different services, providing the subscription on top of it, and invest their time in R&D rather than infrastructure management. And when we say 99.7% of SLA, we provide you the end-to-end full application stack SLA. It is not just the one application UI uptime, it is not just the infrastructure uptime, it is not just the database uptime, it is not just the security threats and software patches. Everything is combined together, everything is aggregated together to provide you that 99.7% of uptime. That is SAP's commitment for you. So business technology platform provides you overall data and analytics services, different application and integration services, and all the latest buzzwords that you are hearing, ChatGPT, AI, embedded ML, everything is possible on top of BTP. So the journey starts with the cloud ERP. That is why it is at the center of it. Once you have that data collected, then you can utilize BTP to have that AI ML, and also to have those custom applications apart from your core S4HANA, where your core business is running. You can keep that apart. You don't want to disturb your core. You want to keep it as clean as possible, and you can develop your customizations on business technology platform. We have more than 118 plugins where we have SAP integration suite, which acts as a middleware to connect SAP, non-SAP, or any other system to S4HANA to exchange the data. It provides you that platform which has inbuilt security measures, it has logging capabilities, it has all authorization capabilities to restrict the access to the authorized users as well as contracted users or any third-party system that you're interacting with. That is something is as per the SAP standard. With our SAP build services, you can build low-code, no-code applications in a quick period of time. You don't need any programming languages. You just need to know the functionalities. You just need to know the connect and integration points, and you can build the applications on the fly. So we talk a lot about selling products, producing products, providing services on top of it, having that revenue recognition in place. also having having services for which you have to provide subscriptions. And everything is related with your finance. But now you can have only one single margin analysis or one single marginal view across these processes using solution order management. So that when you are actually analyzing or planning or forecasting, you have that information, how many products that you have manufactured, how you have procured that projects, how the execution of or manufacturing has gone, and how you have sold that. So you have this one single solution order management giving you historical data and analytics in one particular service itself. And believe me, for some of the customers in India, we have implemented S4 HANA Cloud Public Edition in just 4 weeks, including pre, post, everything. 80% of SAP's business comes from the MSMEs globally. So there are a lot of forums open with respect to industries, with respect to different products, where you can collaborate and get all the information. Thanks for now.
Thank you so much, Swapnil. I would request Mr. Pradeep Ghare, consultant, the Catalysts, to come on stage and talk about the role of MSMEs in the India's paradigm shift.
I represent a firm, Catalyst. We are 10-year-old. We are more into business transformation, touching upon entire business spectrum, right from HR to ERP to finance to changing mindset of the client. That's one line thing we do, and the growth is inevitable. So when I look at which are the business influences, right, and again, this is one area which I feel looked at in SME sector, or by the way, when I look at SME, I will not go by definition in terms of asset value or number of people. Today you'll find a company touching 500 CR and still getting run traditionally. So for me, it's a SME. So I don't go by the turnover. I go by how it's run professionally or not. So you'll find companies in the range of 200, 500, 800 crore also, but still run not that professional manner. So for me, the definition of SME is not by virtue of turnover or what is your asset deployment. So these are the important business pillars, or I would say business influences for any organization, more specific to SME now, which talks about your ability to plan your business. It also looks at your ability to manage growth. So when it comes to managing growth, it also talks about ability to risk management. So when it comes to this sector, I feel many times this is something lagging where we don't work on our business plan and take help of systems. So it comes to managing growth. I'm more in terms of your ability to increase your bandwidth. You are having sustainability approach in terms of having system in place, strong reviews going on. So this is one thing which I feel which is very important. Third is execution excellence, and last one is most important, ignored, is people practices. So for me, any business, let it be a multinational company or SME or this hotel, has got these 4 business pillars on which any organization is running. For me, then what remains, since we are most of the time, here the crowd is more from manufacturing background, and you'll all agree with me that, the mantra is, then working relentlessly on operational efficiency. And that's what I think Viva, or, they have put it, that how our solution can give you real-time information. And this is something which is lagging today. We are ignoring the power of real-time information. How many of the companies today have tracking cost of poor quality on a regular basis? It's a drain to your P&L, but it's ignored many times. So please understand, is your system capable to give you a flash? What was my last month's cost of poor quality? Then you don't have the systems. Please understand, it lies in your circle of influence. We have a client where they have 2,000 SKUs. Now please understand, in traditional way, you cannot track which SKU is making good numbers. But today, no real-time information is available. Manual bill of material, valuation is not done properly. So here comes the systems like SAP or any other ERP, makes a big impact. It's such a robust thing that you get real-time information, accurate, provided definitely you are disciplined. People productivity, linking of shop floor, profit center. So these are all important, only tip of the iceberg. I'm not going to narrate many, but these are the game changers. Those who are having real time are going to survive. As simple as that. And suppose you are not able to make it, then please understand customer is not going to pay for your internal inefficiency. So, it's my tagline, no ERP is good or bad, it's all about attitude. So, you will find many ERPs amazingly successful. At least in Nashik, I can be a testimony where I was personally involved into implementation of a worldwide SAP launch at Rishabh Instruments, right? And one of the case study. I'm sure Reliable is one of the case study, right? So there are people who are smiling today, right? They are getting wonderful results out of it. So for me, it's all about why I'm saying it's attitude, because the reason are very simple. I always look at when you are going for any good ERP, right? These are all good ERPs, let me tell you, they are proven. When somebody said we are 50-60% of market, just imagine they are absolutely proven. It's like Mercedes doesn't have to sell, right? So the point is, do you have current systems matured? When I say, do you have basic systems in place? Do you have some SOPs written down, right? Do you have some protocols written down? Do you have some reviews going on? Some templates are captured in Excel. So then you are on a very sound wicket, when you go for SAP. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ghare. It was really insightful, and you were very real about bringing the real life situations that companies often faces. I would request Mr. Ivan Norhona to please come on the stage and talk about Castelia's roadmap for Nashik.
Basically, we are Castelia's Technologies. As Praveen said, we founded in 2008. We are a pure play SAP shop. We don't do anything apart from SAP. We generally help our customers in the digital transformation and how to utilize SAP to the full extent and ensure that the customer is benefiting out of it. Okay. You might also be seeing some of the logos and wondering what are those logos. Basically, we are also certified by SAP Germany in terms of our solution operations and also the hosting operations. We have around 2 offices right now from where we operate. One is in Thane in Mumbai, and the other delivery center is in Bangalore. We have around 100 plus clients, spread across more than 12 industry verticals. We have completed more than around 60 plus, end-to-end SAP implementations on 35 plus S4HANA projects. Currently, we are also doing around 3 public cloud implementations, which are scheduled to go live, in this year. We have also completed, more than around 75 digital compliance projects, which is more from a GST compliance point of view, which helps the customers in filing their GST returns, being compliant with respect to e-invoice and e-way. And here, primarily, we use the SAP solution to help our customers. We also have our add-on solution to cater to these requirements. From services point of view, primarily focused on net new implementations, that is greenfield implementations or brownfield implementations. As customers have certain amount of challenges in terms of moving to a specific ERP, as a partner, we also have challenges in terms of, convincing customers to move to an ERP. So apart from this, we also have, industry qualified solutions. We have our own solutions for most of the industry packages, that is pharma, chemicals, and consumer products and retail industries, and also for automotive companies. As I said, in terms of SAP licenses, it's not only licenses that is covered. The solutioning is more important, before we get into the licenses. So as I said, we tend to get involved, or we want to get involved in the entire discovery, finalize the solution, present the solution, and then we talk about, what are the commercials and what is required from a license point of view. The digital compliance is as an important factor as of now, since GST compliance is also, an important activity as far as your monthly filing is concerned. So, when you do your closing in your books, you also have to do your monthly filings. So this is where we also play an important role. We are one of the premium partners with SAP, where we implement the SAP's digital compliance solution, and we have helped more than around 70 or 80 plus customers to achieve their filing on time and with 0 errors. We also help our customers in terms of global delivery. Like India is growing, they also the companies in India are acquiring companies abroad. So we also help them in implementing SAP for the companies which they have acquired outside India, and also in terms of supporting those customers in their different time zones. Process point of view, we do understand that most of the processes which a specific industry uses are common across those companies which belong to a specific industry. So we have also created a solution which caters to each and every industry. So at this moment, we have solutions which can cater to across multiple industries, be it pharma, chemical, retail, automotive or engineering, plus there are more like dairy and milk products. So we're currently doing an implementation on SAP public cloud for a dairy customer, and we are building the complete add-on on SAP BTP with respect to their milk procurement, because everything comes from farmers, and there is a lot of jargons with respect to the complexity of procurement, and so those things are being developed on the SAP BTP platform, and that will be integrated with the S/4HANA public cloud system. We have our own solution for compliance with respect to e-invoice and e-way. We also have tie-ups with some of the digital signature companies, and we integrate the solution with SAP S/4HANA so that their purchase orders and invoices can be digitally signed and sent to the vendors and customers. So in terms of the execution of our projects, basically we focus with respect to designing the solution. We have a team of experienced subject matter experts across various business functions, be it finance, production, quality, your sourcing and procurement, supply chain, sales, controlling, product costing. So these are the experts who get involved in the implementation, basically from a design perspective, because design is a key aspect of any implementation, and if you go wrong in the design, you go wrong in the implementation. So that is where our subject matter experts are almost involved in all the implementations for designing of the system. We also have the integration specialists, because nowadays there are so many external systems which needs to be integrated with SAP on a near real-time basis. So it's important for us to have those kind of specialists. And of course, we have support specialists to support and maintain our customers on a day-to-day basis. We had the core modules which were implemented. Along with that, we also have developed a sales portal, which is more from a distributor network point of view, because they have around 500 to 600 distributors who log in and punch in their orders on a daily basis. So that is developed on the SAP BTP platform, and they are able to integrate with the SAP S/4HANA, and the distributors are also able to see the information on real-time basis with respect to their orders, the acceptance of the orders. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Our next session is a very interesting panel discussion. That how some of the generative AI and those kind of technologies are going to be an integral part of SAP. Without wasting much time, I wish to call upon the panelists who are going to be part of the session today. I wish to first call upon Ms. Gargi Thorat, who's the CIO, SR Thorat. Next, I want to call upon Mr. Rohit Agarkar, lead GRC and special projects from Reliable Autotech. And I wish to call upon Mr. Shrikant Chincholikar, Director Partnerships at Microsoft India. Shrikant, Microsoft requires no introduction, but people would be very eager to know what's happening in the world of SAP and Microsoft, especially with the recent announcement of Copilot.
The SAP Microsoft partnership is an extremely old and a very strong partnership lasting for more than 30 years now. In a way, both these companies are very similar. If you even look at the mission statement of the companies, they're so similar. SAP mission statement says we're going to make the world run better, whereas Microsoft's mission statement says we're going to empower every individual and every organization on the planet to achieve more. That's not it. I mean, the future is extremely exciting when both these companies come together. A couple of days back, we had a very important announcement where SAP's SuccessFactors has the ChatGPT integrated into it. So we're trying to solve the problem of the talent gap and gap that's usually there. And what the ChatGPT embedded in SuccessFactors is going to do is it's going to help the recruiter to really refine the job description very, very finely. So it's going to do phenomenal things that we're doing together. Anyways, Teams is already integrated with SAP. So it's again is a very, very classic case of the partnership. And lastly, the grow with SAP. We're possibly the largest platform that SAP hosts it on. And we are the largest customer to Rise with SAP. We run SAP at the back. Microsoft globally runs SAP at the back. And SAP's own SAP instance runs on Microsoft Azure. So that's the strength of the partnership.
Come to you, Gargi. As a CIO, we wish to understand your perspective that what has changed and how that change in technology has helped customers see your product differently in the market today.
I'd like to give a short background about how we started off with SAP. Initially, back in till 2017, we were using Tally, and in 2018 was the golden year that where we took the great decision to transform the business digitally and go ahead with SAP. We've completed 5 years with 1709, and this is the year, like the coming year, we are going to move to SAP Cloud Public Edition. Though we are a small scale industry, but this is the thing that is going to help us reach probably levels like where Amul and all the other, like Hudson and all other huge dairies are. COVID was actually quite lucky for us because we were working and we had all the time to get all the good things out of SAP, wherein the whole management was sitting down, using it, finding out what all features are there, what all were, like what was missing from, missing that we weren't using, or yeah. So then that was the time wherein we actually like reached to at least 93-95% of what do you say, like we've implemented utility costing, all like the product costing, end-to-end product costing to 95% of accuracy. So that is like the best thing that we have done over these 5 years. From the customer point of view, because of this, we are able to play with our prices very well. And I mean, we are now able to crack great customers who once were dreams for us. So that is another advantage. All that has been possible is because of SAP, because there are various kinds of reports and various kinds of detailing, whether it is related to batch, what is the quality of the batch, what is the... Now, we have reached to a traceability level where we can also tell you that 1 liter of milk that is there in our dairy is of what quality, what protein, and is procured at what time, by whom, at what paisa has gone into it. It's that detail that we've gone to. And it is the best thing that has happened, and that's why probably, I mean, great customers are also coming for us, and that's why I'm saying...
Thank you.
Yes.
Gargi, I think it deserves a round of applause for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think, you brought out some very interesting aspects which we could have never done with the slides. And fact of the matter is, Nashik, that this is the 12th event we are doing. We have come across so many cases of various mid-sized companies who have succeeded with SAP as their backbone. Let's move to you, Rohit. What has shifted for you? And what is it that you think was missing, which kind of got filled up when you implemented technology, and it is helping you perhaps do business better in these difficult times when we are facing a lot of disruptions in supply chain and other areas?
The first is obviously access to real-time data and analytics. Now, whether our customers want information on where their products are, at what stage, whether in transit, at the warehouse, on the sea, in our factory, so on and so forth. The second area that I feel has really helped us is the traceability and sustainability. One example is, all of y'all might have heard about the EU carbon tax, which will be applicable from 2026. And what essentially this means is that any imports of iron, steel, or fertilizer products which are imported into the EU will attract a 25 to 30% levy. India exports around $8 billion of iron, steel, and fertilizer products to the EU alone. Now imagine that from 2026, if there's going to be a 25% levy, it's more than important to decarbonize the entire supply chain, and that is a mammoth task in itself. On those lines, we have voluntarily done our sustainability reporting, ESG reporting, and data points, data collection is humongous when it comes to GHG emissions and carbon footprint mapping. So automating all this data collection has really helped us a lot. Around 70% of the data resides in SAP. So it's about how well we leverage this data to our advantage. And the last one is obviously IoT and automation. the reason for IoT and automation typically in our industry is that I think Mr. Ghare has already mentioned the importance of operational efficiencies. Now, typically in a situation where 60% of your top line is towards your raw material and bought outs, you are left with very little scope to actually play around with your operational efficiencies. And typically when you don't have control over your raw material prices, then obviously IoT and automation in areas like preventive maintenance or even the lighting automation for energy saving, all these things have been adopted. So I guess that is where on an operational front we have been able to get good results.
Coming to Microsoft now, what is it that people should expect which significantly change in the way people would work in the times to come? So what is it that will change which will make people's life better?
The challenge is we'll have to be innovative to be continuously relevant for businesses. And when you say being innovative, you'll have to anticipate every possible dimension of business coming in. People, organizations are moving away from being product companies to service companies overnight. Now, unless you are ready to do that, there's no way you can actually, ride that wave that's going to come up. Now, the only way to do it is people in the organization have to have that time to go around and think on what are those areas that you're going to innovate on. Now, what Microsoft is going to come in and the times that we're trying to do is, we're going to make this a lot easier for all of us. So if you've not heard, then Microsoft is going to come up with a product called Microsoft 365 Copilot. What Copilot is going to do is, it's going to come as a part of an integrated piece for Microsoft 365 Office. So let's say if you have Microsoft Word. So what Microsoft Word is going to do tomorrow for you is, you no longer have to sit down and type those long documents for yourself. You have a very natural language processing unit fed into it, tell it what it is supposed to write. It will possibly give you a right document, or it will give you a wrongfully useful document. Come to the Microsoft 365 Copilot in Excel. No longer you will need to know the pivot tables or the drag dops and so on and so forth. Natural language, give it the data and ask what you want it to do. Do you want sale by territory by this? What has been the growth for this territory or that? Natural language, just ask it the question and it will give you.
What were those critical factors that made you go in for investing in technology, specifically when things weren't really, looking that good in the recent times, and then came the COVID and all of that? So maybe some thoughts for the people here?
Yes. Initially, when we were using Tally, how did we first shift to SAP was, we saw a lot of, we actually had one local vendor who had done a sort of ERP kind of implementation, wherein he had patched little bits of the business into it, but it wasn't end-to-end. And then there were all these newsletters that were coming about SAP, and we randomly got frustrated because the ERP used to just randomly work one day and one day just give weird results. And then we were searching around, and then that is when the CMD directly contacted SAP India and we wanted a demo. And that is just the demo was done and it was finalized. But then the 5 years that we've used it, we've interacted with SAP so much, and we found out so many things about it and how good it is to the business, and why not move with like all the digital India movement. For the initial years, like first 2-3 years, if you are shifting from on-prem to cloud, it is quite a heavy amount, but over the time, it is more fruitful. And also the fifth point I'd like to say is, whatever investment that 1% we've given, it is going to give us 100 times the fruits. So that is, we are so sure about it.
Final question to you, Rohit. What are the 2 or 3 things you see there which can help you scale up that business?
What I see is that today, at least the licensed defense companies are far and few. It'll take some time for the SMEs to get there. The couple of things that will give SMEs the edge in this particular space are developing their own technology and indigenously developed technology and solutions. Right now, most of the technology transfer, is happening from the foreign companies, and there are offset clauses and etc. etc. But the real key or the real game changer is to develop your own tech for defense solutions, and more than the hardware or the actual machines. I think the software is really going to be a game changer in the defense space, and there are very niche foreign companies who are operating in this space, and fabrication or machining is something that maybe 7 out of 10 companies can do at varying scales, but I believe technological intervention and indigenous development of products specific to our requirement, our country's requirement, is what will differentiate SMEs.
There are two more points why we actually shifted to cloud. One is we've got a very good partner. I'm not like that is a very crucial thing, because the first partner that we had wasn't bad, but we've had our own difficulties with it. But the present partner, and we did all the discovery, DDA and all of those. So so then the involvement that they've shown is really great. So it is very crucial to have a very good partner. Otherwise, the investment is a drain.
Thank you.
We are also going to do RFID tagging on the cows, the farmers' cattle. So we will be able to trace when is her, when is she going to deliver the next the child, the calf and all. And then also trace what all are the deficiencies that she has, and accordingly give her veterinary plans, and like we all have dietitians giving us plans and all, we are going to probably get that to the cows so that the quality is increased. And
you're a classic role model for the animal husbandry industry as well.
Yes.
On that note, thank you so much once again, Rohit, Gargi and Shrikant, and we look forward to carry forward the interactions. I wish to invite Mr. Manish Kothari on stage. Mr. Kothari is the president of NEC, or Nashik Industries Cluster. We are so privileged to have you, sir, on board today. We wish to have you on stage.
Nashik is called, you might be knowing a few people that it was a mantra bhumi basically. Prabhu Sri Ram had done his 14 years exile here. Then from mantra bhumi to yantra bhumi, the transformation of Nashik was fabulous. I mean, it is a beyond imagination how Nashik has grown. And shall I tell you that the Nashik has grown on his own, on his ability of growing, and the people of Nashik put their efforts in growth of Nashik. The major MNCs are there, but still MNCs are few. But so many industries have started from a small scale and grown to medium scale, medium to large. Many of us are here. Mr. Ghare, I know him from last 30 years. Reliable also, I know since their inceptions. Many industries I have seen growing in Nashik from a small scale, from an area of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 square feet to an acres. You all know that we are known as the wine capital of India. Again, I'll tell you, one capital only wine capital. We have got processing industries, almost 100 plus processing industries are there in Nashik. Supporting industries, there are a lot of supporting industries in food also over there. Then again the cold chain structures, the cold storages. Can you imagine there are more than 100 plus cold storages? 100 plus cold storages in and around Nashik, which is helping the agro industries for processing and storage and then dispatches. We have got ready to eat food industries are there. A signature company has grown from small scale who is exporting only chapatis. Can you imagine? Chapatis. They manufacture lakhs of chapatis in a minute. Within a minute, with all these automations, you talk about the ERPs, SAP implementations. Nashik is a very big supplier of defense sector. Nashik has got more than 500 ancillary units for defense sector. More than 500, which I know. I personally know them because I am also an ancillary to defense sector. Last 30 years, we are an ancillary to Air Force and the defense, ISRO and HL. all over we are manufacturing, the aircraft manufacturing components we manufacture. So Nashik has gotten such a big, huge potential. Apart from that, I'll just take a few words about the cluster, which he had told me to speak about. Nashik Engineering Cluster, you might be knowing, it is an IIUS project Section 8 company in Nashik. We are honorary working. I'm an honorary chairman or honorary director over there. We have started this to support the SMEs. What SMEs cannot afford, we provide there. The high-tech technologies, the high-end machineries. I'll tell you, we have the South Asia's biggest 3D printers. We have got a metallic and plastic 3D printer, which we support the SMEs to build it prototype. Prototype, they actually use it. Mahindra is our customer. Maruti comes there. From UAE people come over here. In Nashik, can you imagine? We have got the biggest lab, NABL lab, which we support SMEs for the growth. They have to come with the prototype, we validate. We validate, and again in defense, I'll tell you, Nashik Engineering Cluster is the only lab which is DGAQA approved lab. Means anybody wants to go into defense and they want to be validated, so we are approved by DGAQA to get validated. We are into thermals, we are into electricals, we are into mechanicals, we are into 3D printings. We have got various sectors there. So Nashik Industries has also gotten huge service industry providers there. And you might be having a very, very, very good potential for that service industries. And the data, whatever you want, it is available with us, Nashik Engineering Cluster. You can, any time you can pop in, you can, I invite you to visit NEC first. You just seeing is believing. You just see it first, then believe, and then we can have a lot many things which will help our Nashik to grow and go ahead in technology and grow. And we want that we are grown selflessly, we are grown our own, and not by the support of any politicians or anything. The journey has come till today. Okay, so I thank SAP, TV9, and all of you for inviting me and just giving the glimpses of Nashik and what Nashik is there and how it is being supported. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Rao.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kothari. On that note, Nikhil, if you're ready, I think this is our final session. So I'll not take much time. After this session, we are all here to talk to you again. Thank you.
India is growing, right? And we heard earlier, we were talking about inflation rate going down. It is going to go down somewhere now. If it's in April, it was 4.76%. It will remain stable around 5% or less. That's a good indication. Also, if you look at the Purchase Managers Index, right, which also tells you the growth rate. It has always been above 50 for the last 21 months. Now, whenever the PMI is above 50, it's a growth story. Whenever it is below 50, it is basically a contract story, right? So the PMI index is also telling you India is growing, and it has remained above 50 for the past 21 months, which means you will grow, and hence you need proper systems to basically ensure that growth happens. This is the financial part. I think earlier Pradeep talked about EBITDA and all of that stuff. Now it's also important you need to track that, right? So as you can see, most of your expenses or profitability is impacted by what you buy in terms of direct as well as indirect. Now, if I tell you, if I can reduce that raw material cost by 1% and my non-raw material cost by, let's say, 3%, what is going to be the impact on profitability for you without changing anything else, right? So when I look at that, this is giving me an overall earnings per share benefit of from 1.24 to 1.67 and a market value per share improvement by 35%, right? Now this is where I want to focus on cost reductions as well. One of the reasons is because of inflations and many other factors, I either have to pass on the price to consumer, which I cannot do every time, which means I have to ensure my bottom line is stable enough to sustain it, right? And how do I do this? So there are 5 identified areas in today's current situation where we have the cost saving strategy. Primarily, this is what we have found from our customers. One is look at indirect materials. Second one is look at direct materials. Indirect materials are your sweet spot in terms of getting 3% kind of savings. look at your supplier risk or supply chain assessment, freight cost containment and cash flow improvement, right? So these are some of the areas which a lot of customers are talking about. So today, if an agro company from Nashik joins this and wants to find vendors, they will have access to all Dabur's vendors because they are already there, right? So that is the benefit of this network. This is the adoption happening. They are a growing company, they are acquiring companies, they're growing. And that's what we can see it here as well. This is typical snapshot for an FMCG company. Again, companies which are buying this are companies which are like the Britannias and all who are already using this. Dabur you already saw some of the items which they procure. Now forget the raw materials, even if you look at the packaging, marketing. Marketing is sometimes the most ignored one, right? As an FMCG company. So much of money has been put, but no one negotiates on marketing. That's a huge opportunity. United Spirits or Diageo primarily uses this tool just for marketing. There's a huge amount of marketing efforts. Dealers, gifts for dealers, let's say gifts like a resort kind of thing, or in fact, United Spirits or Diageo used to give Harley Davidsons to their dealers, their top dealers, right? So those were negotiated, again a compliance part of it which came into picture. Thank you very much.
So without wasting much time, I just wish to quickly do 2 quick reminders for the lovely audience of Nashik here. One, the QR code, the Global Bharat survey. Some of you who did not do it at the beginning of the event, I would strongly urge you to scan the QR code and become part of this journey of Global Bharat survey. This survey will be compiled into a report by the end of this campaign, and around June 23rd, when we are doing the finale in Delhi, this report would be unveiled, hopefully in the hands of some of the senior dignitaries from the Government of India. On that note, I thank all my sponsoring partners, Microsoft Azure, and of course the lovely speakers, our distinguished speakers today in this room. Thank you so much for finding time. Thank you so much and good evening. Thank you, Nashik.